So once again, welcome Prashant, Dilna and Roopa. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, amongst the many honors that these two wonderful ladies have had, please remember they are Gallantry Award winners. Both of them are Shaurya Chakra winners by the President of India in this Republic Day honor. That's not all. They have a long catalogue of various awards they won. But I am personally happy that last year when the CNN had the Youth Icon Award, and today someone was asking, has there been a certain shift to the maritime? They were competing against film stars and women cricket players and some other people or fashion designers or whoever. No disrespect to any of them, but being posited against celebrity professions, the fact that the audience chose Dilna and Roopa to be the youth icons, I think that says a lot. So, let me get into the mood straight away. And if some people are wondering why both Dilna and Roopa are having a tan, they have just got back yesterday evening at Goa after 75 days of being at sea, and they took the morning flight today to be here with us. So that's why they have that tan, very sailor look. Welcome again. So let's cut straight into Navika Sagar Parikrama, and I'll ask you both to sort of take the baton and describe it in its overall essence, and then I'll ask you a couple of specific questions. Dilna first.
So, Navika Sagar Parikrama 2 was a prestigious project of Indian Navy. 6 women officers have completed in 2017, and to make it more challenging, Navy decided to send 2 of us. And in 2021, volunteers were sought, and we both volunteered. 17 volunteers were there, and we got selected, and our training started. And training lasted for 3 years. We did training in navigation school, various training schools of Indian Navy, navigation. Then how to deal with emergencies. We were given classes on first aids, how to deal with the medical emergencies, and how to do diving, how to climb a mast alone, and everything. Because it is just 2 of us, it's a dual-handed sailing, and so we have to know everything about the boat, and we should know about the equipments. So we were given training for 3 years. The initial 2 years, we were sailing with other crew members. We did n number of sorties. We used to spend most of the time at seas than the land. We did 38,000 nautical miles, which is approximately 64,000 kilometers during the training period, the first initial 2 years. And the last 1 year, Commander Abhilash Tommy, we chose Commander Abhilash Tommy to be our mentor, and Sir started teaching us how to graduate from being into a 6-member crew and to a 2-member crew. And we started our training under Commander Abhilash Tommy. And the last 1 year, it was just 2 of us. We went to Mauritius and we went to Port Blair. That was the 2 major sorties which we did. And in 2024 October, we set our sails for the circumnavigation, and it took us 238 days to complete it, and we came back in 2025 May 29th.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I know many of you know it, but it's possible that someone might not be fully aware. When you say sailing, in this case ocean sailing, it means that these people do not use any mechanical means of propulsion. There's no engines they use. They go just on sail power, like in ancient time. So that's why the voyages are for long periods, and of course it's adventurous and there's lots of that. Now Dilna mentioned an interesting thing about dual-handed. Because this is unique, the Navy chose 2 women sailors. To give you statistics, more than 11,000 people have summited the Mount Everest. About 6 or 700 people have gone into outer space. The number of circumnavigators is more than 2,000, but the number of solo circumnavigators who went just single is less than those who went into the outer space. Now, we don't have statistics for how many dual-handed are there, but it's likely that they are, just as rare. So that's a statistic we must remember. We honor our astronauts as we must do, but remember these wonderful ladies are our astronauts in the ocean. So Roopa, now you take the story forward. You're trained, you're ready, and you're cast off.
So we started off on 2nd of October 2024, and we plan to do the circumnavigation with 4 stops, with 5 legs. But for the first leg, it was we started from Goa and we had to cross the equator, and we stopped at Fremantle. So that was our first stop. So let me just deviate from the topic. So for the circumnavigation to be called as a circumnavigation, there were certain rules. So we had to follow those rules to count our voyage into the circumnavigation, which was we need to cross the equator twice, and we need to cover more than 21,000 nautical miles, which is the circumference diameter of the circumference of the Earth at the equator. And the third was that we should not use any straits or canals, and we need to round the 3 great capes, which are the Cape of Cape Leuwin in Australia, Cape Horn, which is also known as the Mount Everest of Seas in South America, and the Cape of Good Hope, also known as the Cape of Storms in South Africa. So we had to go around these 3 capes. So that's how we planned our voyage as well. So continuing with leg 1, we started from Goa and we stopped at Fremantle after 38 days of sailing. And a second leg was from Fremantle to Littleton in New Zealand, which took us around 28 days. We sailed around the Great Australian Bight. So from Fremantle, after that, we were mostly on the Roaring Forties, which we call, where also known as the Southern Ocean, where the seas are known to be at their the roughest. So there's no mercy. That's what we say in the Southern Ocean. And the leg 3 started from New Zealand, and that was the most toughest and the challenging leg. We started from New Zealand and we had to cross the entire Pacific, and that stretch took us around 48 to 48 days. And there were many interesting things which happened during that the longest leg, which was one, we crossed the Ideal, also known as the international date line, where when we crossed it on January 9th of the 2025. So when we crossed the line, we shifted our clocks back to 24 hours back, and we went back to January 9th again. So we lived January 9th twice, but differently. And after that, there was something which was not planned as a part of our voyage, which was Point Nemo. You must have seen in the video. So Point Nemo is also known as the remotest location on the Earth. It's a calculated imaginary point, and at that point, it's said that the closest humans are in the space. So somewhere at one point, we were also close to the astronauts in the space.
And the important point, both of you are the only sailing ship that in the world that has gone to Point Nemo. There's been no other sailing ship.
So being at that remotest point was very empowering to be there in that particular location. But we continued with the voyage, and we rounded our Cape Horn, around which we had planned our entire voyage. And we rounded it on February 14th, and we entered Falklands, which was our 3rd stop. And we continued with our leg 4, which was from Falklands to Cape Town, which was across the Atlantic. And the last leg was from Cape Town to Goa back. So all these took us around 238 days, approximately 8 months, and we had uh, followed all the rules which was supposed to be for the circumnavigation. And around Mangalore, there was an important point where a track which we took from Goa off, we had crossed the track of Mangalore, so that point is called as tying the knot.
You tied the knot at when. So where your outward leg and your inward leg intersect, that is where you tied the knot of Mangalore. And you did, in the process of coming back to Goa, you did 25,000 plus nautical miles. That's more than 40,000 kilometers, ladies and gentlemen. They say more than 40,000. So far here, we'll come back to some interesting parts of what you did. Now I'll go to you, Kaushal. We're playing this along two parallel tracks. You did a sailing voyage of a completely different sort. Okay? This is a ship made out of a picture in a cave, 5th century design. Okay? So while the design itself had challenges in execution, you had to sail that ship. You were recreating the ancient voyage of Indians to that part of the world and those people here, from Meluha to Magan and back. So, describe a little bit how did it feel to be on this heritage ship, Condinia.
Thank you, sir. Firstly, I'd like to thank the event on behalf of my officer in charge, Commander Hemant, and skipper Commander Sharon, for giving this opportunity. Regarding this ship, the concept, as many of you would have known, has come through Sri Sanjeev Sanyal, through his book Ocean of Churn, wherein he thought of making that ship happen. So that is where Commander Hemant came into picture. They went through as to how to make it, and they came across a painting in Ajanta. Then they tried to design one. In that process, they went through some 100 iterations where they tried to make a ship which has no records. No one has written about it. There is no one alive who knows about that ship, how it sails, how it is going to be manned, how it is going to work. That is where was the starting point. They came to it, then the shipbuilder, Hodi Innovations pitched in, and the Navy with their sailing crew pitched in, and all three made it possible. Experience-wise, as an ancient ship, now I must say it is made of completely natural materials, and it is man-made to the T. Like when I say the wood is seasoned and made in or styled in a way by the carpenter, Master Shipwright Babu Shankaran. I must name him because of his knowledge that he has had. Ancestral knowledge is passed down, and there's no one next who is ready to take that on. So, as a crew, it was our pleasure to sail that boat and to understand how it goes and to preserve that part of history which will be the roots where we come from. It is an identity that we were always mariners. Since 5,000 years ago, we sailed from Melua, we sailed from during the Harappans, during the Mohenjo-daro times, and the Oman Passage Battle. Coming to the crew and the ship's person, the entire crew is what I can say made of steel. And I will quote Commander Abhilash Tommy saying it last year in one of the forums that the boat made of wood and man made of steel. That actually I saw it on ground when we were doing the passage. We encountered rough seas, we encountered still sea. Like it was flat calm, we were sitting and we were not moving at all. So the ship, the experience taught us that is discipline, perseverance and patience. The most important part of it. Sailing, when it comes to everyone sees an adventure. Myself sailed on a warship, then on to training ships, sail ships, and on the modern yachts. And then coming to an ancient ship which has no records and trying to make her sail, understanding her and the way she responds, the way she speaks to you when you're actually trying to make her sail is an experience in itself. It is a lifetime experience for myself.
lifetime's experience, boat made of wood and men made of steel. That's a wonderful description. Wonderful description. Now, Captain Prashant, you help us tie the knot here, so to say. You've been involved with both, and you've just seen like these wonderful sailors. You had 4 of your ships out for last 75 days. You got them in back yesterday, and you two rushed in today morning. So over the last few years, as the officer in charge ocean sailing node, you have shepherded and helmed Navika Sagar Parikrama, Kaundinya, whole lot of smaller, we must not disregard those, other sailing expeditions that are happening to create an ocean sailing culture in our country. So describe a little bit of your challenges at the OSN with regard to these 2 voyages and anything else that you do.
Well, like you said, several expeditions have been conducted, and marquee expeditions were Navika Sagar Parikrama and the expedition of Kaundinya. But these expeditions were entirely different. In the sense, for sailing on the modern boats, I had a template with them. I knew what my training program is supposed to be, and all I had to do is expand the number of people who can sail. For example, now Dilna and Roopa, for them it is just 2 of them. But the expedition of our international fleet review, I had 35 of them who got this opportunity. Smaller in the sense by the length, but by number 35 was quite satisfying. As far as Kaundinya is concerned, it was on the other end. I didn't know how to train. In fact, when the boat was being constructed, I was not very sure whether it will float. So my thought process was that way. Thereafter, when she floated, my next worry was how will she move? And after she moves, how will I train the crew? And yes, if I have to train the crew, then I have to have men. How do I select the men? Now,
Or women.
Or women.
Continent was men, of course. But yes.
Kaundinya, certainly I had decided that, because of the conditions,
Yes.
We can't expand the scope from for the women. So, selecting the men within the Navy who had experience in small boat sailing, have served on Tarangini or Sudarshani, then a certain number of volunteers. It was a mixed match, and we had to work together with Naval Headquarters and identify 19 personnel who could be involved. So it was a big challenge as far as Kaundinya is concerned, as far as the administration and management was concerned. And thereafter, to make a training program and then make them train. And every time we used to come back to harbour, there were several discussions at what went wrong. With Dilna and Roopa, when I was sailing, it was, how much have they improved over the period of time. But for them, it was always something had gone wrong. In the sense, we realized the boat cannot tack, boat can only jibe.
Yeah.
So we had to work out in such a way that if I have to alter course, how do I do it? Then we realized that, how does the vessel leave harbour, enter harbour? We have to have a protocol of, olden days boats used to be beached, but today, we don't have that kind of arrangement. So it is not only Kaundinya which had to be trained, I had to train the tug, the FIC and the warship which is going to take her outside harbour. So there were several aspects of this kind. Then, Meluha to Magan means I had to start the sailing from Gujarat and take them to Oman.
Yeah.
So I had to identify the best suitable port from where this expedition can happen. So I went around every possible port in the Kutch and the Saurashtra area. I started from Mandvi, went across to Mundra, Old Mundra, Sikka, Salaya, and several other ports, Okha, 2 of the naval ports, Okha and Porbandar, and studied the weather conditions along with the crew, what will be the seasonal winds, what will be the currents, and then we decided that we have to sail her in December and sail her from Portland. So it was a big challenge that way. With Dilna and Roopa, like I said, there were templates available. It was just that I had to bring them up to a particular level that tomorrow the male officers who are equally good don't say that, sir, they were not good enough. So I had to make sure that they were good enough. So that's how Abhilash Tommy also came.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I'll tack to Dilna and Roopa, though I'll come back to ask you the challenges of how did you dive and not dive. But incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, to illustrate the maritime family, as Dilna has just got back after 75 days of sailing, her husband is on the high seas. He's a commander in the Navy. He's on one of those ships which is escorting the LPG tanker bringing fuel into India. So, who is leading the more adventurous life, you or him?
I think it's me.
So, we can keep talking about your voyage, but Roopa mentioned that Cape Horn is called the Everest of the seafarers or the ocean sailors, because it's the toughest summit, so to say. Explain to us, you talked about the Drake Passage, but explain to us why Cape Horn is such a big challenge. Just give us a sense of, and how did you navigate through that?
So Cape Horn is called as the Mount Everest of sailing. It is the most dangerous waters where many ships have sunk there. So reaching that point, we had to choose a time period where if you reach, when you go to the complete circumnavigation, cross the Drake Passage, we had to complete it before February. So we timed it accordingly, and that was one of the toughest leg, and that was one of the toughest way where we have crossed Drake Passage, because the sea stitch was so rough, where the waves were coming from all the different directions, because that is the area where the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean meets, and there are currents from all the different directions, and we have never seen an ocean like that ever during our training period, and we never knew that next day we'll see the sunrise or not. In the 17-meter boat, the boat is around 56 foot. Imagine a boat which is size of the stage, and it was completely heeled to one side because of the wind and the waves coming from all the different directions crashing on Tarini. And the boom was touching the water, the sail was touching the water, and Tarini was behaving very differently. So crossing that point was really challenging, and we had a wish to go near the Cape Horn and take a selfie, because 10 days before we crossed Point Nemo, that was the biggest achievement for us. So we were very confident that we want this also. And but nature had other plans. We realized that it's not possible that to get whatever you want in front of nature, you have to respect it. And we crossed the Cape Horn at around 19 miles away. And on February 14, we wanted it to be special. We timed it as per Valentine's Day also. So we remember crossing the Cape Horn and going more ahead near the Falklands, and we were again going up, and we were in the same latitude of Cape Horn after 2 to 3 days. Then I was thinking, now the winds have come down, why don't we go back and take a selfie and come back? So I didn't tell this plan to Roopa, and after some time Roopa was telling me, even I was thinking the same. Good that we didn't discuss about it. So yeah, this is about Cape Horn.
So now there's an interesting tradition, ladies and gentlemen. All those who cross the Cape Horn, the side that you cross the Cape Horn, these people crossed it from their port side or left side. So you can wear a huge earring, in the side, so on your left ear. And all those who have crossed the Cape Horn can have those lovely large size boots, and they have the privilege of putting their boots on a table while having a drink or when they go to a restaurant. So they are in uniform, but I want to ask you, why didn't you ever? We haven't seen you with a ring in your ear, and I've seen an occasional picture with the. You feel tempted to do that sometime? Rupa, you go for that.
Sir, I would want to get my ear pierced, but as per uniform regulations and Navy, we're not allowed to do that. So there's a contradiction there.
Yeah, I know, but this is just to. So tell me, in all of this adventure, was there some time you felt that, what the hell have I got into? Why am I doing this? Was there any time like that?
There were a few times where I have this two voices in my head, where one voice tells me like, you could have sat in your own job, in office, in the AC and done what everybody else is doing. So the other one is like, but we don't like that. So we want something else. So there's always a conversation going on there. But I never regretted the decision of being there, out there at the sea, because although this voyage was a huge responsibility and carrying or following a legacy of Navy, this was also a very personal journey for me, where it changed me as a person. So whatever hardships which we have felt, whatever challenges we have felt, we were mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. We have not slept for 36 hours with minimum whatever ready ration which we were eating, protein bars and noodles and coffee, tea. We were surviving on that when the sea was very rough. But those were the times when we realized what we were made of truly.
That's where your real true sense comes. So, I'm sure you had similar experiences, but in your case, you also had to learn to sail the way the ancient mariners did. So, you had the square sails, for example, and you showed in the movie how difficult it is to rig that sail also. So, tell us what were some of the challenges with anchor, with the kind of rudder or no rudder that you had, and the unique configuration of the sail. Tell us about that. And Prashant, with the same vein, I wanted to ask you, since we spoke about astronauts and ocean sailors, the great achievement of the Indian Navy is that in the last 20 years, or less than 20 years, beginning with Captain Dilip Donde, while India has put 2 astronauts into space, the Indian Navy has made 10 circumnavigators. And 8 of them have been women. So tell us, after he does, tell us a little bit about what made this system possible. First you.
So the challenge is what we faced. Now, everyone knows the modern yachts are lacking sails, 4.5. It's very easy to maneuver, to sail with the wind, go as possible, as close to the wind, or there's no sailing about it. But when it comes to square sails, like we said, it is very difficult to go very close to the wind. Even if you manage to go very close to the wind, there are other factors which will make you go sideways or drift, or what we call this as a leeway, which makes it a more downwind boat. So when it is a more downwind boat, it is only possible to jibe. We did try to tack her a couple of times, forcing it, but it is, I won't say impossible, but it is a very tricky maneuver where you really need that coordination, and we achieved it. But we said, why to go the other way around? We'll have the foot straight up. We'll not go the other way around. So that is how about the maneuvering part. Now in the video you would have seen all the ropes, everything. All that is man-made. It is all jute, manila, coconut coir, cured in oil and full roast and everything. Everything is manual. You manually pull everything up. There is no machinery. There is no winches. There is no pulleys. There are pulleys for certain things to hold themselves together, like the way they used to have in the modern days. It was a challenge initially to tell them how to do it. Now, who would be the best person to initially tell us how to do it? Like you mentioned, Captain Donde. He was one of our initial mentors on the board, where he could give an idea. Me myself being trained under him a few years ago, I understood, and then it is only about getting the team all together. And I loved the way the team came together, and we pulled to Sailor from Porbandar to Muscat and back.
Wonderful. So, before I come to you, Prashant, since you mentioned Captain Donde and they mentioned Commander Abhilash Kam, I think one of the great things has happened is that these two legends have sort of mentored these two crews. In the morning also you had Jasveer Solanki in an entirely different panel on leadership, talking about how he was inspired by sailing with Captain Dilip Donde. So you got Dilip Donde and Abhilash Tomi, these two huge giants, icons of ocean sailing. The fact that they're mentored also tells a story of our sailing system, of which you've been a very important part. So tell us how you created this.
So anyway, it's not me who has created, the Indian Navy has created, and Indian Navy created this organization called Ocean Sailing Node. So today, every offshore expedition on a sailboat is coordinated by the Ocean Sailing Node. Now let's go back to Captain Dilip Donde. He is the most important iconic figure in the Navy. Why I say that is when Indian Navy decided that one individual has to go on a circumnavigation, Captain Dilip Donde raised his hand and said, yes, I will be the one. Next important thing is that we didn't know what kind of boat it should be, so he was part of the design. He oversaw the construction which will happen in Aquarius, and he trained himself. So that was the condition in which he did his expedition. And when I took over as the OIC of Ocean Sailing Node, I first read his biography called The First Indian. And from there I learned a lot. The story and why Indian Navy created this Ocean Sailing Node is that because Captain Dilip Donde and thereafter Abhilash Tomi did not have something called shore support. And every ocean sailor, whether it's a competition or expedition around the globe, they have a plethora of people doing this shore support. And that's what has changed. And that's why more number of people are taking up sailing within the Navy, offshore sailing. So over the 4 years, you asked me what I have done is, I have opened the eligibility criteria for ocean sailing among the personnel. Previously only officers used to sail, now I have opened it for the sailors. I conduct day skipper course and over the past 4 years I have trained in ocean sailing for almost 155 naval personnel. So I have a larger number of people who have done some kind of sailing. And I do conduct several other small expeditions. I conduct inter-command ocean sailing race, which also have started. So more opportunities are being brought in for naval personnel to sail, and I've got a larger number of people from whom I can.
Lovely. So I've just been told that we are, running short of time, and we need a couple of questions from the audience. So quickly, 30 seconds, all four of you. One great memory of your voyage, one takeaway. 30 seconds.
We celebrated Lakshmana Dilna's birthday in the middle of Pacific. So we did not have any cakes, no crowds, no chocolates. We just had a few candles and some 10 gulab jamuns.
Wow. That's real sisterhood. No? So your favorite one? Something
I was about to say this.
No, you got to.
So, reaching the point Nemo,
Yeah.
that was my wedding anniversary.
Oh wow. That's very special, right? You must have timed it just for that. Question.
So the special moment for me on INS Condena would be, I'll give two. The first one is the induction day, that happens to be my own birthday. And The second one is we were traversing from Porbandar to Muscat. On the way in between, we were in the waters, economic EZ of our neighbors, and we had a big school of dolphins coming through, and we were fully set. And the way she moved, and the entire team enjoyed it happening, and we danced to a very special song, of which the movie is being played everywhere. I'll not name it. That was one special moment for my entire crew and me, where we enjoyed the way she sailed and we completed our mission.
So, 1, 2 special takeaways, sir.
So as of now, I've got some special takeaways of NSP only. We've just finished the movie. We have to have a sequel. After that, I will have a special moment from Kaushal.
Incidentally, I think we need to tell that Kaushal, having come back from Oman, is getting ready to go to Bali next to Bali airport.
Yeah, she will be doing a larger expedition on the southeast area. We're deciding the final dates and the ports where she will call. For me, it was Point Nemo and the Cape Horn. And the reason is, like she said, Point Nemo was coincidental. On leaving New Zealand, they kept experiencing 3 strokes. And every time I used to discuss, we had a discussion with Abhilash Homi and advising them, and we had to tell them, move north. And they kept moving north instead of moving south. That was the situation there. And then one occasion came when I felt that they're close to Point Nemo. And I asked Dilna, what about Point Nemo? Then we calculated, we had very short time. There was another cyclone coming. So if you see the track which is there, they're just coming down, touching Point Nemo and then moving north. So that was a great achievement. And next was Cape Horn. Cape Horn, I was also tense because I was seeing the weather and you had no place to escape. With Point Nemo, you had places to escape. And 2 days ago, I had messaged them that, you've seen worse weathers, I'm sure you will do it. And also, I had told them, don't try this stunt of going close to the point.
Don't go for a selfie.
Don't go for a selfie. And because we had planned it well before. But I know they will not obey me. But the nature didn't permit them.
Lovely. So we can't let go without a couple of audience questions, even if we go 5-10 minutes more. So, Bodhi sir, 1 minute, and one from here. Bodhi sir first.
I would actually like to read out the parchment which I gave to the 2 young brave hearts when they crossed the equator. It's a tradition in the Navy, including merchant Navy. Whenever any sailor crosses the equator for the first time, there's a ceremony and then he's given a parchment by the Lord of the Seas, which is Lord Varuna. So this is a proclamation which I made. Actually, I was in America at that time and I quickly got hold of somebody who knew Photoshop and made this, got it ready just on time to send it to Fremantle where a colleague of mine was there and they were able to present it to these 2 lovely girls. So it says, it's a very interesting proclamation. His Oceanic Majesty Varuna, King of the High Seas and the Imperial Court, doth grant this royal patent of the Imperial Court under His Majesty's seal. It doth hereby certify that Lieutenant Commander Roopa and Dilna have been presented in the Imperial Court, passed through our royal boundaries and fully initiated as one of our Majesty's subjects. That means they have crossed the equator.
Yes, sir.
I doth therefore command all living things in the sea, such as mermaids, sea serpents, whales, sharks, sea eels, dolphins, gollywogs and pollywogs, to abstain from playing with them, eating them, or any way maltreating them, while they are enjoying the pleasures of the royal water. I also further command all the landlubbers, people on the shore, loafers, guys who hang around the bars, prohibition agents who catch people who don't have the license to drink, to treat them with highest respect, or surely they will suffer greatly under my command.
Wonderful.
On this day of 16th October at 5 hours 52 minutes 25 seconds, flying fish time, FFT, in the year of 20,024, in the latitude of 86 degrees 05 minutes and 26 seconds east. That is the proclamation.
Right. Longitude of it.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. So, wait. That's a maritime tradition that you spoke about, which is given to all those who. This one. So, Mr. Nabar, yeah. But quick, short question.
Yes, very short question. My question
And
to the
where is,
commanders Dilna and Roopa. I understand that you did the circumnavigation eastwards. I want to know what is the difference between doing the circumnavigation eastwards and westwards. How did you take that decision? What are the factors involved?
So you want to go? You go with your question, then we'll see if we can answer.
I have a quick question for Captain. Sailing hull of an engine design was a challenge enough. What was the navigation system? In the video I saw a modern chart. So did you have a benefit of a chronometer or a sextant or time numbers, or did you say position?
So first you go. Why did you go east and not west? And then you go.
So, in general, people do the circumnavigation from east to west, but west to east is also possible, but that's called the wrong way, because east to west in when in the Southern Ocean we're going along the waves, along the current and along the tide and along with the wind behind us, because if you see the southern part on the globe is completely without any landmass, the winds and the currents are free to flow from east to west. So that itself is a challenging thing, it's most challenging. West to east, it's called as against the flow, or you're going against the tide, against the wind. It will take a longer time and you need a specific kind of boat which is meant for upwind sailing to do that.
Taken that kind of challenge here.
It has been done before, but not very few people have achieved it.
So, about Count India, what we have used is a modern chart, that's right. We have avoided electronics. The naval officers, all of them, have learned astronavigation. They are aware of how to shoot stars and get your position. But, the fact is that today even your watch tells you your GPS position. So it is something which you cannot avoid. So all together on the boat, including mobile, watch and all, you would have had 20-25 equipment which is giving you GPS. So it is not very easy to tell them that don't use it, and I'm not sure whether they will listen.
Last question there. Yeah. Last one. Yeah. Sorry. Sandeep.
So very commendable.
I can't say no to one of us. No.
Commendable what you achieved. What we saw on the video clips, you are manning the sailing boat without wearing any life jackets in the choppy seas. Was it only for the video, or were you had to wear your life jackets all the time?
I think they were very well. Unless I. Okay.
So, practically speaking, sir, and theoretically, we are supposed to wear all the time. And initially, when we went for sortie, we used to wear it all the time. But in circumnavigation, it is like you have to be really quick. If something happens, you have to come out and then man the wheel. If the sail goes, the wind shift, you have to tack, just two of us. So sometimes you will not get that window to wear the life jacket and prepare yourself.
So by that time, you have become custom prepared.
Customized.
Sandeep.
This is actually a question from my father, Commander GVK Unitan, the naval veteran. He couldn't be here this evening. He wanted to attend this session, but he just sent a short message and a question. Dilna and Roopa, I was waiting for you in the Falkland Islands on the 4th to the 6th of February 2025. You was on a cruise liner there, but your boat was late by a week and we sailed away. So,
That's because they wanted to go back for a selfie.
right. Okay. So his question is, while you were transiting Point Nemo, did you establish contact with the ISS space station? Did you attempt any kind of contact?
So while going to Point Nemo, there was a cold front which was approaching from the same direction, from the southwest. So our aim was to just go there, touch that point, record it, and then immediately leave that point. And we didn't establish any contact with ISS. And we have seen in Point Nemo, in the internet and all, there is a red boy. And we are actually searching for a red boy. We couldn't find any.
So, since it should not be said, we discriminate against this part. One last, by God, last question. I thought I saw a raised hand.
By the way,
No.
all those people who cross the Cape Horn are
Given a title called The Honors.
Yes.
HORNERS.
Yes.
And they are the two people probably in India and Abhilash, Tommy and Deepa and a few other girls who have this privilege of being called the honors.
Right.
So big hand to you all. The honors.
Yes, Triveni is just followed. This is more women powered. There's expedition happening called the Triveni Sagar Pradakshina, which has 6 women officers of the 3 services put together. They have just crossed Cape Horn, the honors, and they are now in the Atlantic Ocean. So very soon we shall see them successful. So more circumnavigators and all of them women. Okay. So on that lovely note, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important things we must not forget in this. Of course, in India, cricket is huge, but over the last few years, we've seen that dedicated efforts in 2 or 3 places, hockey, chess and badminton, we've been able to create world beaters and champions. I think the story of how the Indian Navy has created a whole legion of ocean sailors and an ocean sailing ecosystem is a story that needs to be written, because it's a fantastic one, what we have done in the last 20 years. I mean, we had no ocean sailors for the first 60 years, and now to have 10 of them and maybe more, I think that's phenomenal. So that's a great story and a great note to end. Dilna, Roopa, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure the leader standing ovation. Thank you. Thanks a lot.